on, get out of here! Tore up from the floor up. Folks, we're working on a 96 Jeep XJ SE model. We got a 6.5 inch lift and we're on 35s right here. Got the 4.0 engine and the AW4 transmission. I want to just show you something here. I'm replacing my transmission mount, and you can see the transmission mount would obviously it goes right up in here by this like exhaust support, but a lot of people are saying, okay, hey, let's drop this cross member. This is a long arm kit, Rusty's, and another thing is it's kind of, I bought it like this, but it's all kind of cobbled together where it's welded in places, so it'd be a nightmare to drop this down. So what I was thinking is I got my jack right here basically, and I got some wood, and what I did is I unbolted the transmission mount right here, these 4 bolts right here, and what I did, that's all I needed to do, and then I just raised up the transmission, and this tunnel up in here, there's plenty of room up in here to get this transmission up an inch, inch and a half. And then what I did is I just unbolted it right here. I could get up in there real easy and took it out. I'm gonna put the new one in, but let me show you what we're working with right here. People talk about these transmission mounts going bad. These are, you know, these are like $28 basically. And this is the factory transmission mount. I don't know if this is the original. It might be. It looks pretty raggedy. But what it is it's just basically torn out of here. It's separated. You can see how this was in here like this. You can see the rubber along here. This rubber was along here and it tore out of here. What this is when you're putting your transmission in like drive or reverse, you'll get this big ass clunk. And that's what it is, okay? So, and they do fail, and then I do a lot of off-roading, and when I bought this Jeep like 6 months ago, it was already broken. Here's Stinky Fab Racing. They make really good stuff. Another thing I've learned is that if you've had a transmission mount fail and you're sitting there driving around on it, more than likely your engine mounts are gonna be messed up too. Mine, they look pretty bad. They look, you know, dry rotted. Now, after I get this in, I'm going to order up the Stinky Fab engine mounts. They're a good company. They got this here quickly, and they gave me some tracking and everything. And I'm going to put the engine mounts up in there too. So then I don't got to worry about it. You know what I mean? That they're old Jeeps. It's old rubber. You know, stuff doesn't last forever. I've had other vehicles, and whenever I can, I just go to the polyurethane because it lasts longer, and then you know, it doesn't get degraded by oil, gas, and all that stuff that can spill on it. So there you go, folks. Hopefully that'll help somebody do this project, especially if you got a long arm kit and it's all, you know, been on there forever and cobbled together. You know, save you a lot of time and effort. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and any comments are much appreciated. Okay, so we're well into the project now, and I got to show you what I learned here. First of all, this upper piece, don't put this in first, okay? Put this lower piece in here first. It's a lot easier. I tried it the other way, it didn't work, and I just put my little bolts on there, the nuts. And then, so like, then once this is in here, then you can just slide this up in here and then do your bolts. But here's another little trick I learned too. This exhaust mount right here, to keep, once you drop the, you know, put a socket underneath this area right here, and then drop your bolts down for your rubber mount. Okay, so these bolts right here, according to what I looked online, are 55 foot-pounds to the transmission. This bolt spec here for the Stinky Fab is 80 foot-pounds, and then this right here, these bolts here are, I believe, 18 foot-pounds. And then they say in there, if you over torque any of this, you're basically going to void your warranty. So another thing is, like I say, I put some blue Loctite on this. I'm going to put a little Loctite on that, but it's got a lock. It's got the bolt. The bolt is basically like a locking bolt on here. So, you know, but there's just a lot of vibration, torquing, and twisting going on in here. Lowered down the jack, and then just lined up in here, and then I just used the screwdriver to just kind of move this around, and then the bolt went right through, And then now we're going to torque that nut there to 80 foot-pounds. No wonder these fail, because let's just take a look at these. And I think honestly, this is the first time messing with these. So, but like, look here, you can see where this rubber is basically bonded to the metal here. I mean, this is just basically bonded in here. Well, I mean, of course it's going to fail. Look, all it's got to do is just rip right off here. It's like it literally looks like it's glued in here to me. It looks like this rubber here is glued in here with something. There's no metal, you know, like bolts holding it in. It's just, you know, rubber that's bonded to this plate, and no wonder it fails. And this basically is the offset. In the Jeep, it was basically like this. This would be the front of the Jeep right here. So this is the offset for the 96 XJ. It's over here to the left, and then there's the middle, and that's basically like right here, obviously. But like the Stinky Fab transmission mounts, they work either way because you can spin it around in the shell there basically. But yeah, no, this was a really bad design. There's no metal, you know, keeping this in here, and you know, it's just, of course it's going to fail. And I don't even know if this is the original or not, but it's just a pile. I think it is the original because it almost looks like there's some coating and stuff on here. But yeah, no, this is a bad design. If you're gonna, you know, if you're replacing these, and if you're never even gonna hit a trail, I would recommend getting a heavy duty one. These, you know, they're just gonna go bad, and I think they're like 32 or 35 bucks on eBay. The Stinky Fab, I think I paid like 118. Yeah, and I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, you know, $100, a little more than 100. I mean, honestly, it's worth it because you're not going to have to ever worry about that again, and it's going to keep your transmission and your engine secure. I know there's some people out there, they're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I know I've got a bad transmission mount? I'm going to show you how you're going to be able to find that out. Of course, we got a brand new one in there. It's all nice and shiny, but you can actually take just a pry bar and then just put it in where the old transmission mount is and try to pull up on it. And if it moves at all, then you know it's either going bad or it's bad. If it's fully separated, then you're going to get a lot of play going upward, okay? And so like if there's any play in this at all, then your transmission mount is going bad, or it's completely separated and it's just junk. So that's how you know. That's just, you know, that's how you're going to know that it's bad. So you can check that. But I personally would not replace it with the rubber ones. They're just, I'm here, they can go bad in a year or two, the brand new ones. So get yourself a polyurethane one and you'll be good to go for a long time. Well, I've been driving around testing it, and it's so much better. I mean, it's like butter now. Like before, you know, when you'd sit and idle, you'd have a little bit of like a vibration or a rattle, and that's gone. And then now when you shift into like drive or reverse, there's not some big clunk, you know, like it's way smoother. And then even just driving down the road, like you're just driving down the road, it's smoother. It's just smoother all the way around. I mean, obviously we got to test it more, and we're going to do some off-road trails with it, but for now it's working really good, and super happy with the purchase. Way better.